Guys, welcome back to Kristen Live Acres. In today's video, I want to go over 6 essential nutrients that your body needs. These are going to be per person per day, and this is really to get you to stockpile nutritious foods that will actually help you survive. We will cover some comfort foods, but these are the essentials, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. Our bodies need several things to survive. One is going to be protein, carbs, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water. So for your proteins, you need about 50 to 60 grams per day. Now, I'm giving an average because women need a little bit less of each category than men do. And this is just an approximate, so you do what's best for you. But protein, 50 to 60 grams per day. Carbs, 225 to 325 grams per day. Fats, 50 to 70 grams. And it really depends on how much physical effort or physical activity that you're doing. And that will depend on the calorie intake and whatnot. Vitamins and minerals are generally going to come from vitamins and minerals will mostly be sourced from your fruits and vegetables and certain oils. For the fruits, you need about 2 to 3 cups a day. The vegetables, they recommend more like 3 to 4 cups per day. And then we'll go over the oils in a later section. Water, like I said, men require a little bit more than women on average. So we're talking like 2.7 to 3.7 liters, which comes out to about 12 to 16 cups per person per day. All right, so to get all these nutrients via food intake, these following amounts are recommended per day per person. So let's get started. As we go through each category, remember that long-term food storage is only one of many things you need to do to prepare. So some of these things you may have to start a vegetable garden. Some things, may require you to plant fruit trees. Some of the stuff you may have to get dried. So just keep that in mind. And with that said, let's go ahead and start with the first category, which is whole grains. You need about 6 to 11 servings of whole grains per day. And some of these include steel-cut oats, wheat, barley, rice, cornmeal, cereal, grits, oatmeal, quinoa, and then your things like bread, crackers, tortillas, and the many kinds of pasta. The next category is proteins, and you want about 5 to 7 ounces per person per day. So we'll start with eggs, and these can be fresh if you have chickens. These could be pickled. They can be dried powdered eggs, however you can get them. Then there's beans. And so any kind of bean you can think of, including soybeans, which are a really high nutritional value. Any kind of meat, white meat or red meat. Pumpkin seeds, very, very good for you, full of all kinds of nutrients and vitamins and obviously protein. Nuts, oats, even sweet potatoes. Yes, sweet potatoes. Who doesn't like sweet potatoes? That's like a dessert for me. I like to put a little brown sugar and butter on it. Guava, fish, and lentils. So let's move on to the next category. So like I had said previously, most of your vitamins and minerals will come from your fruits and vegetables, and you need about 2 to 3 cups of fruits and about 3 to 4 cups of vegetables. So the most nutritious fruits, not limited to, but in my opinion, are grapefruit, pineapple, avocado, blueberries, apples, strawberries, tomatoes, mango, and lemons. Then when we're talking about vegetables, again, that's 3 to 4 cups. Kale and spinach are super high in nutrients. That would definitely be number 1. Then you've got broccoli, green peas, carrots, Brussels sprouts, ginger, garlic, asparagus, beets, and potatoes. So let's move on to the most nutritious oils that you can start stockpiling that will also add to your nutrients for the day. Okay, so this is a really controversial one, but vegetable oil a lot of times is made up of a small amount of several different oils. It's not number one, but just keep that in mind. I didn't even put it on the list, just so you guys know. Extra virgin olive oil would be my first pick. There's coconut oil, canola oil, almond oil, avocado oil, sunflower oil, peanut oil, walnut oil, flaxseed oil, and sesame oil. And some of these things, if you had the flax seeds, you can make your own oil. If you had the sesame seeds, you can make your own oil. If you had the avocado, you can make your own oil. So these are things, dry pack and then make oils, because most oils don't have a long shelf life, and depending on which of these oils, you'll have to do your own research, but some of them have a longer than others. So have the ingredients necessary and know how to make it from seed if you need to. So let's move on to everyone's favorite part, the infamous comfort foods. When it comes to some comfort foods, they tend not to have as long of a shelf life. However, I'm going to give you a list of some that have a better shelf life than others. So number one on most people's comfort food list would be chocolate. Chocolate only has about a 6-month shelf life when not opened. However, you can store a little bit of chocolate, and then you can purchase cocoa powder, which when opened can last about 5 years. So, unopened and opened is a big difference. Popcorn. So if you have a fire going, like either a barbecue or you've started a fire in the woods, and you have a pan, just the kind of popcorn, the old-fashioned, not the microwave popcorn, folks. Just the bag or the container of popcorn that's just the kernels. And that's a really good comfort food. If you don't have butter, you can always put a little oil on it with salt. Hard candy, if it's packaged properly. If it's coming in like individually wrapped candy wrappers, then I would take all of those and put them in a food saver. Just take all the oxygen out. Peanut butter only has a 9-month shelf life, and once it's opened, it's even shorter. So, you might want to consider some peanut buttered candies and vacuum pack those. Canned juice, it only lasts 9 months. However, you could get dried fruit, make your own. Honey, it's got an infinite shelf life. And usually, even if it crystallizes and gets hard, if you take some warm water, you can actually bring it back to its normal state. Spices last about 4 years. If they're already ground, they have a little bit of a shorter shelf life. If you buy them, say like you buy a whole peppercorn versus already ground, it's gonna have a longer shelf life. However, it's so cheap and it still has a decent shelf life. It's totally up to you what you decide to do. Twinkies, believe it or not, have a 30-year shelf life. Probably why they're not so healthy for you, but comfort foods are important every once in a while. All right, so vodka, it lasts 10 plus years. You'll start, after about 10 years, it doesn't go bad, but it might have a little bit of a funky taste to it. Probably gonna still have the same effect though. Whiskey, it's an indefinite shelf life unopened, but after you open it, you've got about 2 years. And then of course, my favorite, the bonus, number 11, red wine. A good red wine that is stored properly can last infinitely. However, if it's just kind of maybe a $15 bottle of wine and it may have been out kind of, in the elements, as long as that cork's intact, you have about 2 to 5 years. If you start to see the cork breaking down, that means there's air getting into the wine, and so it's going to sour quicker. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you got something out of it, and just remember to have a little bit of each category when you start stockpiling your long-term food storage. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, I'll see you later.